Hey friends, I want to go through this new placemat, project placemat for Business Builder Camp and for all of my clients. Just got this finished. Want to explain it to you, and I want to give some credit to Taki Moore from a lot of credit to Taki Moore from Coach Marketing Machine. He was my coach for a period of a year. He did a program like this at our live events to help us guide our next sprint. Some of the boxes are different, but the theme certainly comes from him. And he's not the only one doing plans somewhat like this. There's books out there called The 12-Week Year. There's people that talk about sprints. There's a program by Todd Herman called The 90-Day Year. And so it's very common that people are thinking in terms of shorter time frames rather than the old school 12-month goal, 1-year goal type of system. So I want to explain this to you. You can print this out 2 foot by 3 foot. That's what we'll be doing at our live Business Builder Camp meetings, so that every 120 days you have a new sprint plan and you can fill it out with a Sharpie 2 foot by 3 foot. We're always going to give a couple copies at those meetings so you can fill one out and scribble on it and then redo a final one when you go back to the office that you can hang on your wall or in a prominent spot on a work table, something like that. So you can print this out 2 foot by 3 foot. Or you can fill it out on the computer and print it 2 foot by 3 foot, or certainly print it 8.5 by 11 if you like. And the format of this is we're going to start out with some long-term thinking, long-term visioning, long-term dreaming. So the lower left-hand corner is where you'll put your vision, 3 years plus. Some people like to think longer term. I'm liking this right now myself. 10 years. What are you all in for 10 years? What do things look like in 10 years or 15 years? And I often say when I'm helping people during intake sessions to work on vision and then to work on 10xing that vision is how you anchor that period of time with some ages. For me, it's ages of people. It could be time in business. It could be how long since you moved. But picture yourself 3 years from now or 10 years from now. How old will your children be? My oldest daughter in 3 years from the time I'm recording this will be 17, and that's pretty crazy. My wife and I at that time have been married for 18 years, and we'll have lived here on the farm for 8 years. So 3 years from now, I know that, and 10 years from now, I will be 52. And I can picture that and see that, and that helps. So start writing in your vision box, what do you want your business to look like? What do you want your clients to look like, your employees to look like, physical location? There's a lot of things we don't know, though, in 3 years, right? But it's good to have a destination, a general direction to where you're going. You should be thinking about your money. What do your finances look like? What does your charitable giving look like? What does your physical fitness look like? These are all things we can think about. There may not be enough place in this box here. You might want to expand that to a document, but that's your long-term visioning, long-term thinking, and dreaming. Some of you aren't as good at that and don't like to do it. Well, I would encourage you to give it a shot. Go in a coffee shop somewhere, turn off your phone, turn off your distractions, have nothing but paper, Sharpies, and start dreaming. Have a nice notebook. Sometimes that can really help the ideas to flow. Some of you want to work on a computer. That's okay too. But think long term, and then get around some people. One of the things we do in our group is we get around some people who will help us to, as we say, 10x our thinking. And that doesn't mean 10x money necessarily, but it could, and there's nothing wrong with that. It could be 100x money of where you're at now, 10x your business and size, 10x your free time. But the concept of 10x is simply thinking very big, thinking much bigger than you're thinking right now, following your dreams. As my kids laugh at me sometimes, they do a little parody of when Dad does his follow your dreams speech. But you should be doing that. Get around people who encourage those dreams, people who don't think you're crazy, people who will light that fire under your rear end. Guess I better go faster for the rest of these boxes, but that's so important to be dreaming, thinking, 10xing. And then the way this works is we're always going to be working back. So we rewrite this thing in Business Builder Camp every 120 days. You can do that on your rhythm as well. And the reason we don't do 90 days, and again, I learned this from Taki Moore, is because we want to take 30 days off. We want to have a life. So we sprint for 90, take a rest for 30. And that doesn't mean we do nothing during those 30 days. It just means we're not actively sprinting. We're not actually, actively pushing hard in leaning into new stuff, growth, etc. So this works it back from that vision. Next box here is your 12-month goals. And so 12-month goals should often pass the SMART test. They should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to your 3-year vision, right? Relevant and in line with that, and then time and date stamped. These things in the 12-month goals are often either numbers. Profit is important. If you have a business, don't ignore it. That's why we love the book Profit First. Set a goal around profit, not just revenue. And then you can also have some goals in 12-month goals that are more binary, like yes or no. Yes, I did it. No, I didn't. Yes, we did. No, we didn't. You'll maybe won't like this, but we rewrite goals, 12-month goals, every 4 months. And we take a look at what we wrote in the prior period and we rewrite them. You may keep a starting set of 12-month goals for these set of goals for 12 months, but it's perfectly okay, I believe, to be stretching, thinking differently with your 12-month goals after a sprint period, because we're in a world that moves so fast, so much changes in your knowledge, what you know, and you're all growth-oriented people. You're not static people. So who you are 4 months from now, if you rewrite this, is very different than who you are today. Trust me. So we can rewrite 12-month goals and keep pushing forward. Next thing is theme of the sprint. So do you have a general theme for this 120-day period or the 90-day sprint and 30-day rest period? Do you have some sort of general theme that you're following? Is it generating more leads? Is it employee job descriptions? Is it getting employees to think like owners? Is it sales hiring, sales expansion? Is it implementing a new project or a new software system? What's the sprint theme? What are you really focused on in that next period? Process and people notes are simply a place for you to start talking about Joe, Mary, Sally, Tim, and what you're working on with them, and also systems or processes like our trucking system, our logistics system, our website system. So this is a general place for you to make people and process notes in the lower right-hand corner. Top part, let's look into some indicators of common indicators of success in business. Have something to measure. You can change this, revenue, profit, or days off, if those aren't the things that are particularly important, but it gives you a starting point. But we should be tracking about 3 metrics for you, for your life, for the whole business every 120 days. The revenue, profit, days off are a good place to start for a business owner. And so what you do is, let's start this so we know and remember what happened and we have a basis. So last month is a good place to start to fill out those. And then we start looking forward for the sprint period. So your 3 months of actively sprinting, and then your 4 month of rest or celebration. So it's activate, calibrate, accelerate, celebrate. And again, those are Taki Moore terms. So if you're a coach, go check him out. Activating your projects, calibrating, getting things dialed in, and then the last period of time, the 3 month, is about accelerating, because let's face it, many of us are deadline driven, and you'll accelerate in that last 30 days, maybe even the last week, to get things done that you've set down before you check in with your accountability partners like our Business Builder Camp or whatever you have going on in your world. So we track some numbers. We total up for that 4 month period what we're planning on doing. Upper right-hand corner is here for personal, family, health, and community goals, because I always want to make sure that people I'm working with, people that Business Builder Camp is working with, are not just about the business and not so focused on the business that they lose track of their children, their family, their wife, their church, their community, their things that they do outside of work, and don't lose track of you. Don't lose track of your health. Don't lose track of your physical health, mental health, emotional health. We need to pay attention to those things. So it's good in the upper right-hand corner to make sure you may have projects that land in the center of the stage that are relative to those things. That'd be great. But if nowhere else, I want to make sure you take some time to write down things about your children, time with your spouse, your health. Are you exercising? Are you eating right? What do you need to do? Get some accountability so that when we gather back up in 4 months, you can look at that and see what you wrote and look back at that time, what you were thinking and what you were planning to do. And in Business Builder Camp, you can talk to your buddies and you can get some accountability from them and sort of bust on each other a bit for what you did or didn't do. All right, so that's that corner. Then down here in the center part, this is the guts. This is the center, right? This is the stuff. This is where it happens. So You can probably, you're going to be working on a lot of things in the next 120 days. There's a lot of things you work on all the time and are part of your duty in the business, depending on the life cycle stage you're at with your business and you personally and the things that you're working on. You just have things that maybe you haven't outsourced yet. So you have a lot of just operating things, the work to do. If you're an engineering firm and you have 1 or 2 or no employees, you're going to be doing a lot of the work. And there's a lot of things that need to be done. If you're a business owner, most likely you haven't completely outsourced your email. You're going to need to do those things. Check your email. So you may have things that you've established already that you've been doing in a rhythm for the last 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You're going to need to keep doing those things. And we're not going to write everything on the page is the point. But in any given sprint period with a rest period, we want to make sure that we force you down to think of just 3 projects. 3 projects that are non-negotiable. 3 projects you're convinced need to happen. So name those 3 projects, and they may be projects around marketing. They may be projects around selling. They might be projects around customer retention. They could be projects around culture in your company or morale. They could be projects around giving you more free time. They could be major, again, software implementations, some new system that you're designing, bringing in. Could be a website project. There's a lot of bigger projects that you could be focused on. And what we're going to do is write that project down, and then we're going to write down the best result. What's the best thing that could happen? And you should go ahead and say, what is the worst result that I can envision going on with that thing right now? And look at it this way. So the best result is what you really want. The worst result was like not something bad and something going haywire. That's not what this means. This means the worst result that you can settle for, the worst result that you won't, like completely be hanging your head. Like, for sure that you are going to achieve at least as much as in the worst result. We want to shoot for the best result, but non-negotiable, you're going to achieve at least the worst result in that project. And then what you start to fill out here is what are 6 criteria to describe that project and what success will look like. So when we get back together again in 120 days, or you get together with whoever you work with, we're going to ask you, did you hit the success criteria? And today, as you plan this, you'll start to make bullet points for what a successful completion of that project will look like. Some of those things could be numbers. Some of those things could be, yes, no, I did it. No, I didn't. And again, be thinking about marketing, sales, scaling your business, equipment, lots of projects you can think about. This is an outline of how the sheet works. Again, you can write in here, you can save it, save as, and it'll save an image of it at that time, print it out after it's been typed into in either 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17 or 24 by 36 formats with a little bit of scaling. And you can also print the big format, 24 by 36. Take a black Sharpie. It's a great way to think by yourself in a coffee shop with all your distractions turned off. Those are things you can do with that. Hope that helps. Ask any questions that you have, and let's win together. Let's sprint together and celebrate together. Thank you.